All right. All right, everybody. I'll just wait for everybody to dive in here. And, yeah, just wait for a few people to jump in and we'll have a look. Hope you're well. All right. Been a pretty slow week, the last week or so. Really, just we've been sort of stuck in a bit of a range. It's not been the best conditions really to trade. Turn off. Okay, so. Hang on. Okay. All right. Is that better on the echo front? Is that better? Can you? Is it all good? Still echoing. Oh, what's going on here? It's All right. Looks like people are able to look. I can't see. I didn't think anyone was in here, but the issue that I've got is that okay. So now people can't hear anything. So I think it's Can everybody else hear an echo now? All right, just double checking. Just want to make sure we get that right. Okay, bizarrely, I just put the settings back to exactly how they were at the beginning, and now there's no echo. I don't know what the bloody hell's going on, but either way, we are up and running, and we are ready to go. Alrighty, so what's going on? Well, last week was a bit choppy, wasn't it? It was pretty choppy for the majority of the week, and I want to throw up the daily. Because, this morning I was looking at this going, it's not really been the nicest time to trade. Sorry, I've just got back from my exercise for the morning, so I'm a little bit... I don't want to be wearing a jacket, but it looks good, right? It's been choppy. Check it out. I mean, look at this range that we've been in. It's really been pretty woeful, guys. I mean, check it out. We've been sort of through 66 and, the upside's, 74, around that sort of figure through here, right? And, we've got a bit of a range, but it's been a pretty tough one to trade. So if you haven't had a great week, you're not the only one. I actually had a loss last week. I haven't had a loss in a losing week. Well, I don't know, for quite a while. I don't typically get two wrong in a row. I got two wrong in a row, and one of them was a full loss. So for me, it's not very frequent, but I look at this and I do my assessment of my trading each week, and I looked at it and went, well, you know what? I'm trading when the conditions aren't prime. And look, we haven't really had prime conditions for a little while. They were definitely great through here. Start of the year, that sort of condition, this sort of trend here, you will be doing very, very well trading the cradle, the booster, and the breakout. But for the time being, since we saw this big fall, but obviously the nice little cradle there, that was a bull terror. That was a cracking trade. Little opportunistic grabs is all we've really had, and up here it's just been a real mess. So how do I go about trading these markets when they are a little bit messy? Well, it kind of rules out the higher time frames for me, and if you don't want to trade those lower time frames, then I'm cool with that, right? Now this morning when I went through and had a look at the charts, I basically said to my members, I said, look, there's I'm gonna be sitting back and running what I do, doing my normal stuff, because there's not much really to look for, not much really to trade. Now that has changed a little bit since then, which I was hoping, because I got to do a scan here, right? And I'll take you through what I think we're going to see, and I'll be relatively quick, because if there's anything that shows up, I want you to have time to consider it for yourself. But what I am liking is this. What I am starting to lean towards is the lower time frames. Now, lower time frames, let me just make one thing very, very clear. With lower time frames, it means our position, the distance between our entry and our stop loss is tighter, which means the position size is larger. If it was an 8-hour cradle, for example, then, let's say my stop on Bitcoin was $150. If I'm trading a lower time frame, that same, that stop might be $50 or even less, right? So that means that the size of the position might be a 10 Bitcoin leverage position, might go to be a 30 Bitcoin leverage position, because we're risking the same 1% of the account, but the actual amount of contracts is much more significant. So just be aware of that, okay? Big positions, still managing the risk the same. The profits can be phenomenal, but you can be out quite quickly. So just remember that. Keep that in the back of your mind when you're thinking of, or if you are thinking of going to these lower time frames. It's not for everybody. Now here's what I'm looking at. Okay, so I'm looking for support levels. I always look for support levels. We covered that in part 2 of the course, looking for support points. Now I'm not teaching this particular strategy on the FTX course at the moment, but you'll start to understand the ingredients that we learnt in the last session on Thursday at 4 p.m. That you can sort of apply some of these different dynamics in the market, and that's what we're going to cover now. The issue that I've got here on Bitcoin is, see how it's a bit messy through here? It doesn't look fantastic on that time frame, but Bitcoin obviously being the leader of the market, the big dog, I think we might find some other options on the lower time frames. And I can tell you now, for the most part, the daily charts are pretty cack. They're pretty rubbish, they're pretty crap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the daily. I'm going to switch that out with a 4-hour so I can get that understanding for the bigger picture, and we're going to do our scan in that way. So are we ready to go? Everybody good? Get my water. Is everybody happy? Are we ready to go? We're time to do our FTX margin pair scan. So have your notebook. If you've got multiple screens, it's not a bad idea to have the charts that you've got with this list over on the other screen, and you can go through and put these little red boxes in for the watch list as well. Okie doke, let us go. Ethereum against Bitcoin. Now, of course, this 4-hour, let's have a look at the daily for a start, because I know that this daily isn't as bad, because we do have the higher low, we do have the higher high, and it has pulled back. Now, the 12-hour here, don't love that for the purpose or simple reason that it's just not great trend-wise, and it would need to have a relatively wide stop. So I'm going to jump out of there. Okie doke. Back to that 15. Do I have support? Not yet, but you can see the sort of thing that I'm looking for, right? It's not there yet, but if I keep an eye on that, I need to have a few more tests down here. But what I do like is the lower highs. It's showing potential pressure for downward momentum. So again, it's just understanding what the chart is telling you, reading that language of the market as opposed to just having a crack. Yeah. Cardano, we're looking for flat levels through here. That's what's going to be the play at the minute. We're not going to be seeing cradles and the likes. We're going to be looking for support and resistance levels, more likely support. Why? Because we've got some short-term downtrends that are based off of the lower time frames here. Lower high, lower low. If we look at the higher time frames, you'll see they're a little bit messy. If you look at the mid time frame, lower high here, lower low here. So when we go from the 15 to the 30 to the 1 to the 2 to the 4, we've got downtrends. This is focusing on the lower time frames, and therefore I'm going to go working for flat levels on the 15, which is the lowest time frame that I'll trade crypto typically. Algorand, I'm not enjoying anything that I see there. Look at the 4. It is in a downtrend. Let's have a look if we've got anything here. Well, the 1 hour, if anything, it would have given a signal over here. Not the greatest of cradles. There was one here as well, but you can start to see, based on what we learnt last week, pulling back into that cradle, bearish candle, move away. Pulling back in, bearish candle, and we're moving away. All will be revealed on Thursday at 4 p.m. This 4 p.m. course will not be recorded. You must be there live. And don't worry, we will do it again. We will do it again. So no problem at all if you do miss it. Okay, just be cool. We'll be going through again. Nothing there on Algorand, Alt Perp. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit here. Let's back that out a bit. Okay, that's going to go in the list. Why? I've got test 1, test 2. How many tests for support? 2. I need 3 before we actually have a potential trade off of it. Now, if you're looking at this going, well, hang on, Craig, I don't know what your Bitcoin breakout strategy is. That's okay. If you've got your head around what the cradle might be at this stage, you might be just getting a little bit ahead of yourself, obviously, because we're not there yet. But what you can do, whether you want to trade the break of a flat level or not, you can actually wait for that pullback into that level. And that's a bonus factor, as you're going to see on Thursday. I don't know why it is, but, you know, we're not meant to touch our faces. Whenever that happens, I get an itchy bloody nose. Anyone else get that? It's just one of those things, huh? Anyway, Atom. Just going to get that perspective view. That's why I move around the time frames. I'll hit the 4 hour. Again, look at how choppy this is, right? This is why I'm going really low, because I'm just trying to capture a little bit of these quick, short, sharp moves. Because the high time frame, but look at this. This is just a mess. It's just too messy for me. So there's not much going on there on the 4 or the 15. So we'll go to Bitcoin Cash. Ooh. All right, let's start at the 4. Lower high, lower low. It's downtrending. Hit the 2, it'll become much more clear there. Look, back in, move back in. Look at the 60 minute actually. In, bang. Oh, look at that little peach. Bam, small bearish candle. Thump. Good move. But let's move back to the 4 and hit our 15 minute now. This actually looks... That looks quite good. Hang on a second. Okay. Just zooming out a bit more here. So there's a bit of a B stick break, and what I call a B stick break is, you know, it's broken through a little bit. Okay, a little tiny bit there. How big is a B stick? Pretty small. I say it again so you remember this sort of thing, and it works, right? So what I got here is I got test 1, test 2. I want to see a third test up here because that's not close enough. Lower highs coming in here. So if I got a third test over here, I could start to build out a breakout trade short. Now I'm going to pop that in the list before I forget. Stop option as well. Behind the lower high at the current stage is around that 220.75 region. If you don't know this strategy, if you haven't gone through and learned it, that's okay. As I say, you might have your own Bitcoin strategy, your own breakout strategies that you might want to employ here, but there's a nice level of pullback into there. Could also offer the opportunity of a crypto cradle or a Fibonacci booster. If all these things are left-handed Swahili to you, then I suggest that you have a look through a few more of the videos on tradercobb.com or on this here YouTube page. It will start to come together. So that's going to go into the list. We're going to go to Binance now. Binance, it's the only one that's kind of got a bit of a decent daily trend still. Let me just confirm that that's still the case. Yeah, see that? I mean, this is kind of what we're looking for, right? What we've gone through thus far in part 2, we're going to cover on Thursday for part 3, the full strategy, is an uptrend with moving averages in the correct order on multiple time frames, convergence on multiple time frames, and a small bullish candle in the cradle zone. Tick, 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 tick. We got all those. Let's hit the 2-day. 2-day, are the moving averages in the correct order? Oh, jeez, just. I'll call that okay. Do we have an uptrend? Yes. Do we have convergence? Yes, yes, yes. So that's quite nice. Other than that, right now, so as a cradle, that could be definitely worthwhile coming back and having a look at tomorrow. So I'm going to put that in the watch list as well. Nothing on the lowest, so we'll keep pushing through. Bitcoin SV. Nope, the flat level's gone. As you can see, there was a level that was starting to be created. It's now cactus. It's good night. All she wrote. Bitmax daily. All over the shop. Bing, 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 bing. Don't like it. 4 hour, again, pretty unlikely. I don't like the 15 minute here either. There's really nothing there for me. Doge. See this funny looking candle stuff? For me, it just rules out trading those lower time frames. I need to have something that's got a little bit better cyclicity, and I don't like these types of candles. Why? Look, they're not great. Okay? That to me is showing me there's not a great deal of volume at that stage, and if there's no volume, that's how slippage is caused. If I've got a sell order and there's nobody there to buy my sell order, then I got to keep moving down until somebody accepts that order, and that's where I get stopped out. Now, that's not the exchange's fault if there's not somebody on the other side. It just is what it is, and it happens in all markets. So it's one of those things. Slippage occurs when there's not a buyer. When there's not a buyer for your sell order, or when there's not a seller for your buy order. You've got to match off two people or two orders to facilitate that trade, and that's how we get slippage. When I see a chart like this, I've been asked plenty, do I use volume? Yeah, I do, but I don't use it as an indicator. And the answer why I don't use it as an indicator is because I don't need to. I can look at a chart and I know. It's very simple for me to be able to tell, 99.9 times out of 100 if there's low liquidity on that particular pair. So that's why I don't actually use the indicator there. So no biggie at all. Moving on from Doge, Dragon. Okay, just going to dab that up a little bit. Rightio, another level. So I've just refreshed the questions because I wasn't getting any. If you've got any questions, please do ask. They just weren't refreshing a second ago. I have refreshed them now, so I should be able to see them properly. 15. Call that one test, two test. Looking for a third through here. Would I do that and sneaky bees dig it? Look, I could. But I'd also like to see a test there. So let's just go to the 15 to the 30. Bit divergent. Most of you that were on last session, you'll know what divergent means. It's not really, as we make equal lows, we want this MACD to be nice and flat as well, or better yet, rolling over already. Now, if you look at the 15, we're close. We got to get down to here. This might actually start to roll over, and it's this low to this low that we're looking at. So I'm going to pop that in the list as well. On the higher time frame, the 4 hour, we can quite clearly see lower high, lower low. Now, don't forget, with a trade like this, we're looking at sort of in, out. I'm not looking for a big run. If I was to look for a big run, I'd be looking to scale out, minimize my risk, manage my risk, lock in some profit when I can by trailing my stop on the 15 minute. And then I'm in the position whereby, if I do get further downside in this play, I make more money, but I've also locked in a profit. You've got to think about what you're comfortable managing. You've got to think about not making money, but managing the money you have. That's what traders do. It's not always about how much can I make. As a matter of fact, usually if you're thinking about how much you can make, you're thinking about the wrong thing. You're focusing on the wrong area. That's my 2 cents worth anyway. Again, we've got EOS in there. The whole market's starting to look a lot better here on these little breaks, potentially. Got to get that third test. Test 1, test 2, test 3. Why is that not 2 tests? Because it doesn't have a concerted effort to get away. Starting to converge here. I like that. I'm going to keep that on the list. Now, I'm going to try and get through this because I might go ahead and raise a couple of orders on these as well. So I don't want to be in here when that happens. There's nothing there right now in Ethereum Classic. The daily, I think it's pretty average as well. Yeah, that's right, it is. I'll move on to the next exchange token. Nothing of interest there. 15 minutes sideways, but no flat level that really tickles my fancy. 4 hour down, but there's nothing to work with. Horby, again, no flat level there. I want to see tests that have gone back down. Concerted efforts, nothing there. Leo. Look, Leo's pretty spiky. I don't like a chart like this as much simply because it just means that I can't trade those lower time frames. It's the daily time frame only that I would maybe consider. But again, even the daily's got these big spikes. Now, that could be fat fingers, that could be manipulation, that could be thin order books. Who knows what it could be? All I know is that it's not a market that I want to be focusing my attention on right now. Not when I've got good markets that look fantastic, that have better liquidity elsewhere. Do I like Link? Tell you what, shorting this, you'd be pretty bloody brave at the moment. It's been absolutely killing it, hasn't it? Back up into there. Look, I'm not going to put that into the list. Even the fact that we could have a little flat level form here. It has a higher low. It has a higher high. And look, I think that there's some weaker looking charts out there. Don't forget what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm actually looking for reasons not to trade, not reasons to trade. Trying to find reasons to not trade. It's a very different way of thinking about things. A little bit of liquidity, obviously the Litecoin, a top 10 token. I will pop that in. Again, it's got to evolve. It's got to build in. EOS looks pretty good. Bitcoin Cash looks pretty good at the moment. 2 hour Matic needs to pull back in a bit further. 1 hour, I suspect here. Feel free to raise order. We might learn something. That's a very fair point. A very fair and valid point. The thing is, the reason I really don't like to raise orders in front of people. I mean, look, I'll do it as an example, but for me, I'm still human, right? I still make mistakes. It's about creating an environment where I am more than likely going to get it right than make that mistake. And for me, it's I could cock that up royally, and I don't want to. It's my money. Okay, very flat and messy here on OKB, so I'm not in the slightest bit interested there. Shit perp again. Do I have that level? I think there's better options out there. Tomo. Ooh, now that is looking very, very nice for tomorrow. I haven't actually traded Tomo on margin yet, but I'm going to pop that in the list because that is think of an early 2000s song by Tom Jones. It's looking pretty good. Keep going on to Tron. What have we got in the 15? Nah, leaving that. XRP. What have we got here? Nada. No, nothing to work with there either. No, I can completely kill that. Tezos. Let's just back out a wee bit here. There's not much to work with, to be fair, guys. Let's go right up high on Tezos. Little candle there. What was it 12 at? It's not. Nah, it's not. It's just not got enough there to give me that confidence. It's in my list from earlier. It's now coming out. Privacy coin. Again, we'll hit the lowers. That. See, when I do the facial expressions, wobble my head or make noises, that typically means if it's not clear, it's not there. And that's a rule for me. If it's not clear, it's not there. So I'm just going to kick on past that. Go back to the start. Let's jump back in. See our red list and hit the list of what we've got from FTX. Oh, and it looks like we're having a little bit of a resurgence here across the market. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to see these... Gotcha, Clint. It doesn't mean we're not going to see these roll over. Okay, don't be lulled into a false sense of security. Keep these in your watch list. That's why they are here. That's why we have watch lists. We can go back and we can check things out, and we can go, is it any good, or no, it's not. Now, altcoin perp, what we need to see: test 1, test 2. Need a third at a minimum. It's setting its sights on higher, a potential higher high here. We'll see how that evolves. Bitcoin Cash in that same boat. If a pullback down, bingo, tests there, 3 tests, we start to get something relevant to the way that one of the strategies, the Bitcoin breakout. Binance, BNB, I think we were looking at that on the DAILY, and YESWARE. Don't worry, I'll stop that. I know that's annoying. Okay, we're looking at the 15 across the board here for the most part, because that's what we saw. We've got Dragon, 1, 2, 3. We've got a high here. Now, if that rolls back over and heads south, then we might have a lower high. But again, this is the thing. You can do your list, and it can change quickly. At the beginning of this scan, we saw plenty of levels that did look very strong for potential downside. These levels are still in play. EOS still very much in play. If it breaks up through this high here, a rollover is what's required to get that support there. Same thing on Litecoin, and the big dog Tomo, the painter from regional New South Wales, loves his iced coffee. Ooh, sorry, Tomo, and does a good job of the old wax on, wax off. He's looking good for tomorrow. So there are options available, guys. It's the lower time frames for the time being. Those lower lows coming in. We need to see those support levels kick in to give us what we're looking for. At the moment, we are moving higher. Now, don't forget this. FTX want your volume. FTX want your trading. But FTX, the reason they're paying me to do this, the reason we're doing this for you, The reason I'm putting a lot of time and effort into this is so that you become a better trader, you become a better client, you build your account, your trade sizes get bigger, and your ability becomes much better. Now, to do that, there are times that you're going to need to understand that it's not a good time to trade. It's actually the best time to sit back and do nothing, to focus on reviewing your trading plans, going through the material again, checking off on the on the screenshots of the trades you've taken and seeing if there's anything you need to work on. That's what you should be doing when it's not time to be clicking the button, because what we want collectively, all of us want you to become the best trader you possibly can be. And to do that doesn't mean taking trades all the time and being a mad dog pressing the button all the time, buying and selling. No, it's about understanding. When the opportunity is there, we take it. And we want to profit. We don't just want to trade. When the opportunity is not there, we wait. And at the moment, I've got more waiting to do. There is definitely some nice little levels starting to come in here. But as far as anything immediately right now, I'll just wait. We've got Binance for tomorrow. We've got Tomo for tomorrow. We've got EOS, Litecoin, Dragon, Bitcoin Cash, and Altcoin Perp for today on these flat levels. Keep your eyes on the prize. Don't forget to switch your notifications on. Subscribe to this YouTube channel so you know when the watch lists come out. And don't forget, Thursday, 4 p.m. AEST. We're with you, going through the not to be recorded part 3 of the crypto cradle strategy with the full essential and bonus factors. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Let's do it. Take it easy. I'll speak to you soon. Trade well, trade safe, stay indoors, all that sort of stuff. Ciao for now.